Okay, hello everyone. Okay, so in the last couple of videos, we talked about other scanner class methods. And we talked about the fact that you can use the system.in, okay, the in object to accept in byte info, keystrokes from the user as byte data. And then we can pass in that byte data as input to a scanner object and then use the methods in the scanner class to be able to convert the user input to primitive data types, like let's say integers or doubles or whatever we need them to be. So among the other scanner class methods, there wasn't a method to convert the user's input to a single character. Now, assuming you had a program that was asking a simple question to the user: do you want to quit? Yes or no. Type in Y for yes and N for no. Assuming you wanted to write a program like that, how would you use the scanner class to be able to accept a single character? Okay, so let's do that. So first of all, in order to create the scanner, use the scanner, we need to go ahead and import it, right? So I'm going to import java.util.scanner. We are importing the scanner class located in the java.util package in the Java API. And once we import the scanner class, we now have to go ahead and create a scanner object. So I'm going to go ahead and create a class type variable of type scanner, and I'm going to call that class type variable keyboard. This variable is going to hold the memory address of the object, of the scanner object we're about to create. So I'm going to now create a new scanner object in memory, and I'm going to pass in system.in, which refers to our keyboard, the data that the user is going to type into using the keyboard. We are connecting that to a scanner object, and we are going to use the scanner methods, the scanner class methods, to be able to convert the user's data into whatever data we want them to be in. So we've seen class methods like nextInt, which converts the user's input to an integer, nextDouble, which converts the user's input to a double, and so on and so forth, right? But then there's no method, like nextChar or something like that that converts the user's input to a character. And we said methods are basically series of one or more lines of code wrapped up together with double quotations and given a name. So those are defined in the scanner class, and once you create an object from the scanner class, that object has all those methods. That object has all those functions, that functionality, that superpower, the methods, and they're defined in the scanner class, right? So this keyboard object, which is kind of connected to the system that in the user's input, this has superpowers, or it has methods to be able to convert the user's inputs to all sorts of data types except for a character. So how are we going to do this? First, we are going to tell the user to, let's say, type in a character, right? So I'm going to use a system.out.println and use a statement and say something like, do you want to quit? Type yes, Y for yes, and N for no. Let me just make it a capital, lowercase for now. Okay. So now we've displayed this to the user. We want to accept a single character, but how do we do this? So first of all, we are going to accept the user's input as a string. We're going to convert the user's input as a string first of all, before we kind of extract a character from the first character from that string. So the way there is no method, but there's a technique to do that. So we're going to accept the user's input and then convert it to a string first of all, and then we are going to extract the first character from that string as the character that the user types. So if the user typed in Y, we are going to convert that Y to a string, not a character, a string first of all, and then we are going to extract the first character, which is that character Y as a character. Okay, so let's see how that's done. Since we're going to accept the user's input and then convert it to a string, we need a string class type variable that's going to hold that string object, right? So I'm going to go ahead and define a string class type variable. I'm going to call it user input. And so over here, user input is going to be equal to, now we have this the scanner object over here connected to the user's input as byte info. Okay, so keyboard dot next line, we know next line converts the user's input, okay, to a string. And so whatever the user types, the next line is going to pop up some kind of text box, and it's going to allow the user to type in something, and whatever the user types is going to be converted to a string, and that's going to be stored here as a string over here. User input is declared as a string. Now we need a character, right? So first of all, let's just display the content of the user's input. So user system.out.print, sorry, my typing is bad. Let's print out what is in user input. Let's first do that. Let's even concatenate a string to it and say that user typed something like this. So compile this. Let's run. Do you want to type, do you want to quit? Type Y for yes and N for no. So I'm going to type in Y and hit enter. And then it said user typed Y. I forgot to put the space here. So let's just try that again. Y. And it says user typed Y. Now you may think that this Y, although when you're looking at it, this Y looks like a single character. This is really a string because we use next line to convert whatever the user typed to a string. And also user input is also declared as a string. So we know the user input is a string. We know that. It's not a character yet, but we need a character. If we wanted a character in our program to use for something, we needed a single character, not a string. And so the technique we're going to use is to convert the first character of this to a character. Okay, we're going to just extract the first character of the string, okay, and then store it in a character variable. So let's define a char variable, right, and then let's call it user char. Let's just say user character. All right, so the way we do it, let's just delete this line. All right, so this is where we pop up a text box, allow the user to type in something, and whatever the user types is going to be converted to a string. And the way we extract the first character from the string is by using a method in the string class called character at. So this is how it looks. It looks like this, char at or car at, however you want to pronounce it. So character at, and I'll explain to you how it works. So the way we apply the character at method to this string here, okay, we are going to apply it to the string. We're going to say user input dot, okay, we're using the access operator because this user input is a string. Remember, char at is a string method. It's a method in the string class. So this object user input was created from the string class. And so once you create an object from the string class, the object has all the properties and all the functionalities that were designed in the string class, and one of them is char at. So this object automatically has the char at method. We can apply it to this object. So char at or character at, however you want to pronounce it, this here, okay, is going to, so we have to add our parentheses, right? It's going to accept an argument. And that argument is the position of the character you want to extract, right? So assuming user input contained, right now we know user input contains the, when this question is asked, the user is going to type in Y or N, right? But it's possible the user can type in, let's say, something like this, yes. Maybe the user didn't see this, type Y for yes, but the user just typed in yes. What we are interested in is a single character. We are not interested in the string yes. We are interested in just a single character. So the way we can apply the char at method to this string object is by over here providing the character we want to extract. So we are extracting the character at what index or what position, what index of the string. Now strings this way, okay, each character in a string has an index. Starting from the first, okay, it has an index of 0, and then it increases by 1 as it goes forward. So the first character of any string has an index. Okay, you can think of an index as the position, right? But it's the actual term for it is index. So each character in a string has an index. That means the first character in a string has an index of 0, not 1. but the index always starts from 0. The second character in this case will have an index of 1, and then the third character will have an index of 2, and so forth. So if I had a string like, let's say, Kakra, the first character of this string will have an index of 0, second character 1, third character 2, fourth character 3, and then fifth character 4. But we are interested in extracting the first character. If the user typed in yes, we are interested in the first character here, which has an index of 0. And so that is, the index is what you provide here as an argument. So assuming the user typed in yes over here and not y. Typed in yes, we're interested in just the first character. So we want the character at index 0. It's going to extract the first character from whatever the user typed and then return it, right? When it's returning it, it says, okay, I've extracted the first character from the string. Where are you to accept this? You need a place to store this character. And over here, we've defined a character variable called user character. So user character can accept whatever character was extracted, as the first character from the string. Okay, once it's done, it's going to return it. So we need a place to store it. So we fortunately have, we declared a variable user character to be able to store that character, right? And then now we can display it. So let's just display it, and after that we'll try it. So and then we'll talk about it some more. So system.out.println. Let's print out what's in user character. Compile this and then run. Do you want to quit? Type yes, Y for yes, and N for no. Let's say I didn't see that I typed in the word yes. We're only interested in the first character. We're only interested in a character. Type in that. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and it said Y, right? So let's add a string to it. User typed this, right? So compile, run. Yes, it's going to extract the first character and then assume that, or basically it's going to extract the first character, store that in user character, and that's going to be basically the character that I typed, right? If we wanted to use that answer or that value, further in our program, to test to see what the user typed, and if we're only interested in a character, then this will be a nice approach, because we don't care what the user typed. Like, we don't care if the user typed in all of this. We don't care. All we're interested in is the first character. Is it Y or N? In this case, when I hit enter, it says user type Y, because we are extracting the first character from the string and storing it here. That's what we are using. If I compile this and I run it, and I typed in no, and I hit enter, it says user typed N, because all we are doing is we are extracting the first character. We are extracting the character at index 0, which is the first character of the string, and returning that result, that character, and storing it in a variable that is declared as a character over here and displaying it here. At the same time, if the user saw the instructions over here, type Y for yes and N for no. First of all, this Y is a string, right? It's, even though it's one character, right? It's a string, because we are using the next line over here to convert whatever the user typed. Okay, what I'm typing over there, the user typed, as a string. So first of all, it's going to be stored as a string here in user input. And in user input, even though it's one character, this whole thing is considered a string, right? Even though it's one character, because we are using next line to convert it. And over here, we are using the char@at method to be able to extract the first character. It happens to only have one character, and that character is the first character. So we are extracting this first character Y here, and we are storing it in this user character variable, and we are displaying the results. So the same thing, even though the string initially has one character. So when I compile this and I run, well, I suppose I hit enter, right? So type in Y, hit enter, and it says user type Y. Compile this, run, type in N, it says user type in N. Compile this, run it, type in yes, hit enter, it says user type in Y, because we're always interested in the first character. Compile this, type in no, and it says user typed N. So that's a way to extract a character. In case you were asking the user type, or you wanted to figure out if the user typed in Y or N, you can use this technique, and then you can you use further code to test to see, did the user type in Y or N. You're not interested in anything else. All you're interested in is did the user type in y or n. So this is a mechanism to kind of force y or n, right? Regardless of what the user types. If the user messes up, you can kind of extract the first two characters. If the user types in the correct thing, you have the two characters y or n. And then you can use further code to test on it to see, was it y or n? And if it's y, you can do something. And if it's n, you can do something. So this is a way to extract a character from a string, or kind of converts the user's input to a character, because there's no method in the scanner class to be able to convert the user's input to a character. And so this is a technique to be able to extract a character from a string, its first character, or basically any other character from a string. It all based on its index. 0, each character in a string has an index starting with the first one of 0, and then it increments or increases by 1, each character, that follows the first character. All right, so if you have any questions, please comment down below, and I'll do everything to respond to them. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time with the next video. All right then, bye-bye.